Hi, my name is Tracy Chauvin. I'm a school social worker in the Shawnee Mission School District supporting East Antioch Elementary. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this community. We're a very family-oriented school. Community is family here. Teachers have taught multiple generations. Parents work in our school building. Family members volunteer on a regular basis. We have an open door policy where anyone is welcome to drop in at any time. We do many events, including service learning and community service projects. We have annual events such as the Sing-Along and Beach Day, where we invite the community and our families in to come be a part of these traditions. We also do various family nights throughout the year that are free and open to any family members. So nieces, nephews, grandmas, aunts, uncles, they can come and be a part of the community too. As you can see, we have a beach night themed movie night actually. So they brought beach towels to come lay on and we watched a movie related to that theme. We also did a game night where Tyrannosaurus Rex came out and hung out with the kids. We're very academically focused. We do tier and workshop times, follow the MTSS model. We also do looping from 3rd to 4th grade and then 4th down to 3rd. And then we do a 5th, 6th vertical team looping model where our 5th and 6th grade teachers, there are 4 of them total, each teach a subject and then they see every 5th and 6th grader throughout that day and then they do that for the next year as well. So each 5th and 6th grader has these teachers twice. Some characteristics of our population: the education level and the occupation of parents is varied. Many of the families in our community call themselves and consider themselves working poor. They work multiple jobs. We have single family homes. We have quite a few grandparents as parents. We have 349 students currently enrolled, kindergarten through 6th grade. K through 3 is our largest population. We have 3 sections in each with the average class size of 22. And 4th through 6th grade, we have 2 sections each with an average class size of 24. Our gender and sex are almost equal actually. In our diversity, we have 13% of our student population supported by special education services, 4 students with 504 plans. 38% of our students qualify for English language learners services. 5 families are McKinney-Vento families, so they are qualified as homeless for this school year. We have 53% of our student population identifying as Caucasian or white, 23% as Hispanic or Latino, 8 as African American, 5 multiracial, and then respectively 1% Asian and American Indian. And the 9 that says blank are ones that do not consider themselves to be identified with the Caucasian white category, but didn't find one that fit perfectly in the other categories either. Communication channels. We have a very active school website where you can see upcoming events as well as pictures of events we've just recently held. Text messages and phone calls. You have to opt out actually of these from both the school and the district. The Twitter and Facebook pages are really active for our school community. Facebook is ran by the PTA. They do lots of events on Facebook. They will Facebook Live some of our events to generate some interest and let people who can't be there that night see what was going on. Our school Twitter is ran by our principal, but then each individual teacher or staff member is encouraged to have a Twitter as well. I run a Twitter so that you can get a small glimpse into what the day of a social worker is like. And the primary source of information for our families is actually Facebook and local news because of how active our PTA is on their Facebook page. We use a lot of email communications, newsletters. We do that for formal and informal communication. We also use it to communicate staff to staff. We have quite a few community groups, actually. Clubs and organizations, our choir, music, mad science, tutoring, running clubs, student council, mathletics. We have Caring for Kids, a community partnership, where it is an intentional group of people that get together every single month to build a sustainable framework of partnership. And over the past 5 years, we have built a partnership made up of local churches, our PTA members, local businesses, our fire department, and actually our police departments as well, because we have multiple police departments that help our school. So you can see actually a picture of one of our PTA moms and one of our church community partners, and they are donating indoor recess games. That we did a drive for this so that we use technology less for indoor recess. And so that was really successful. Every single classroom got a minimum of 5 items to use for indoor recess. We also partner with Harvesters, where we have 50 families who receive food for the weekend. It is supplemental food, nutritious food, and their kids take them home every Friday. Alumni are huge in this community. They come back to see their siblings perform in some of our events. They come back for parties. They help us run clubs. Our alumni are really big. The Boy Scouts meet here at East Antioch. We have a Girl Scout troop that meets here frequently as well, but it's not based out of East Antioch like our Boy Scouts are. Junior Achievement are local business partners that partnered with us to come in and teach business and life skills to specific grade levels. And then MVP program, which is our volunteer program. We currently have about 100 volunteers, 35 of which come in weekly to biweekly to be tutors, lunch buddies, mentors, just helpers around the building. Leadership. We have 2 tiers of leadership within our district. The district level leadership, which is our superintendent, school board, and our coordinators, such as curriculum instruction and elementary and secondary coordinators. And then special ed would fall in there as well. They influence our curriculum, professional development, and discipline, policies and procedures, and the resources that we use within our buildings. At the building level, we have our principal, lead teacher, our building leadership team, experienced teachers, our site council, and our community partners who all have a vested interest in creating schools where children learn and thrive. They all are a part of our community. They see the students in their churches, local businesses, and one day some of our community partners might even be the employer of some of our students. Our community leader characteristics. Students are their first priority. They are here for our families. They are here for anything and everything that we need, and that is actually a reciprocal relationship. We do the same for them. They invest time, energy, and money into the community. They bring knowledge and guidance to our community. They are able to influence how we do stuff based on the feedback that they have and the knowledge that they have from living and being in this community all the time. They develop plans with input from all stakeholders. They take into account the family needs when making new policies and procedures, and they have a big picture mentality and look ahead for sustainability. The economic conditions. East Antioch is located in the Shawnee Mission School District, which is in the Johnson County, Kansas area. And the economic growth has been strong for over 25 years in this area. We have created a self-contained economic unit with its own employment and financial base. So they predict that Johnson County will be a cornerstone for growth in the state of Kansas over the next few years, so that is a positive. School funding, the adequacy, Shawnee Mission has continued to say that we are not adequately funded, and so the Kansas Supreme Court releasing the decision on Gannon versus the state of Kansas school finance lawsuit has been really a hot topic in the Shawnee Mission community, because the court has also declared that school funding continues to be constitutionally inadequate, and that has affected our budget for this school year and our upcoming school year. Some of the things that we're struggling with are an increase in staffing due to the increased enrollment in Shawnee Mission. We're the 3rd largest school district, and we continue to enroll more and more students in the state of Kansas. We have increased transportation costs. We've had increased supplies and service costs. So not having adequate funding affects all of these things and affects what we are able to offer our students. The political structure. As previously mentioned, we are a public school, so the political structure is definitely affects our community. We recently had our Kansas election, so Laura Kelly will, as our new governor, will definitely have a funding plan for public K through 12 schools. She has stated that her vision for Kansas means schools have resources to provide a great education to all, no matter where they live. We also just recently had our local elections as well and saw a lot of more education-minded people voted in. We also have information in the Shawnee Mission School District budget profile, which you can see in that link. Our school board election that was recent, we saw a lot of change there as well. Our superintendent is new this year, so he has brought a new political structure to our district and is continuing to build a strategic plan this school year to focus on what the community says it wants. And then social media has played a huge influence in the Shawnee Mission School District community. We have groups such as Education First Shawnee Mission and Shawnee Mission School District Watchdogs that go behind the veil to reveal what is going on behind the scenes, and they've gained traction in many of their agendas. Social tensions. Within the smaller East Antioch community, there's little social tension. We have heard feedback from parents that because we are a smaller neighborhood school, that when students and families transfer in after kindergarten, they do sometimes feel as if they might not have a place because there are already some social groups formed. We're not a transient population overall. We only have one apartment complex that feeds into our school and a 4x4 block section of the neighborhood that is rental properties and Section 8 housing, but that's still very little transiency there also. Within the larger context of the school district, there's a distinct dichotomy of the have and have nots. We don't see that as much here at East Antioch. We have consistently been a working class neighborhood, some working poor as mentioned before, but everybody bands together to support and help each other. You see the have and have nots when we have some elementary schools that have, instead of PTAs or in addition to PTAs, they have education foundations because their PTAs have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is not East Antioch. There's little gang violence here, a little interracial confrontation. The discrimination that we have noted, and this is across the district, is actually special education students that prompted an audit by KSDE and some changes in our special education department. There are some extra sources of information. If you would like to go look at those, please pause this and feel free to explore those. The power structure here within our East Antioch community is definitely a top-down power structure. Outside of this triangle, we have the superintendent, the associate superintendents, directors, coordinators, all whom the principal is responsible to report to. That's its own organizational flow chart. It's influenced by local and state politics, inter-district politics, and pressure from parents. Within the building, we have the principal, who's the final decision, and her leadership philosophy is what drives the building. This has been a huge shift for many in the building who have served in this building for 10 plus years. When the principal came 4 years ago, she made significant changes to the structure that had been present through 2 other principals who had served the building for a combined 20 years. After the principal, we have a group of individuals who are either already viewed as leaders within the building and take on significant roles and responsibilities, or are seen as emerging leaders and they contribute to the building leadership team. After that, we have our SIT team and SPED team who are seen as instructional decision makers in terms of student support. After that, we have our site counselor or PTA who influence decisions within the building. We have our veteran teachers who have a social status that influences some of our staff members. And then we have our teachers who give input as well. Multicultural issues. We've actually made this a focus at East Antioch this year as the PTA is doing the School of Excellence award process. And so we did a school survey, and one of the deficits that was noted was weaving the culture into the school. So we have started sending communication out in English and Spanish. We have had interpreters on site for all conferences and night events as possible. The open door policy is also now for if you would like to come in and teach about what it is that you particularly identify with, we love to have it. So we now have parents coming in and bringing some of their own culture with them to talk with our students. They lead lessons. We make sure that this year specifically, we're intentionally bringing other cultures into our small neighborhood school. Measuring public opinion and public opinion surveys. We use our site council. We use the School of Excellence survey, as we just talked about. Informal measures, such as a Google form on the 5th and 6th grade model to make sure that we are addressing all needs. We use staff surveys as part of the evaluation process. So staff who are on evaluation will send surveys out to parents and get feedback on that. We have town hall meetings with the superintendent and feedback requests at all the night events across the district. So there are a couple of different ways that the public opinion factors into our community on the larger level and then here at East Antioch. And thank you so much for learning about East Antioch and our climate and culture here in this community.